Hello everybody, today I'm gonna take a close look at the ASUS ROG Crosshair VI Hero motherboard, a board featuring the new AM4 socket and the top-of-the-line X370 chipset for AMD's new Ryzen CPUs. Now this is not exactly a budget-oriented board, it's a high-end Republic of Gamers product that is packed with an enormous amount of features at a price of about $280 at the time of this video. In this review I will not just go over the features, but will also show you what it can do in terms of overclocking. Thanks ASUS for this great motherboard. In terms of accessories, there's a whole bunch included. The package includes the motherboard itself, padded I/O shield, 4 SATA cables, 80cm RGB LED strip extension cable, the ASUS Q connector, 3D printing mount and M.2 screws, an NVIDIA high bandwidth SLI bridge, the user guide, the board layout documentation, driver's ID along with a sticker, safety information, a coupon code for cable mod cables, warranty information form, and then some ROG stuff, much of which I don't even know the terms for. First off, aesthetically speaking, this ASUS Crosshair VI Hero can be considered a masterpiece, at least when it comes to my personal taste. It after all sports a nice dark color scheme with a very organized, tidied up layout, and the fact that it's so feature-packed with something to look at every inch of the board really makes up for a very good impression all in all. Definitely the best ASUS board I've looked at for years. In 2017, what else would you expect? RGB. This one has it too, but it's not so much in your face and it's kept somewhat more subtle. As I've said in the beginning already, the AMD X370 chipset comes in action here, and with this one we're getting unlimited overclocking features and the best possible connectivity over lower-end chipsets like B350 for instance. AMD's new AM4 socket fully supports the new Summit Ridge Ryzen CPUs and most likely even an upcoming newer generation. What's special here though is that this crosshair comes with AM4 as well as AM3 mounting holes, meaning you could reuse your old coolers without the need of any new mounting brackets whatsoever. The 12-phase VRM power design should allow for some really good overclocks, and the PCH and VRM heatsinks are pretty beefy. Besides, the two 4D VRMs are connected by a heat pipe. ASUS really shines with its use of high-quality components such as microfine alloy chokes, along with smaller NEXFET MOSFETs and all Japanese black capacitors. 2 steel-reinforced PCIe slots, also nice. 4 DDR4 memory DIMM slots, dual-channel with up to 3200 MHz and 64 GB max capacity. As for expansion slots, here we have 2 PCIe 3.0 X16 slots, a PCIe 2.0 X16 slot at X4 mode, along with 3 PCIe 2.0 X1 slots, 2-way SLI and I believe 2-way CrossFire multi-GPU support, X16 single GPU mode and X8, X8 in 2-way. As for storage, a total of 8 SATA 6 Gigabit per second ports, all powered by the X370 chipset with RAID 0, 1 and 10 support. Only a single M.2 M key slot in SATA 6 Gigabit per second or PCIe 3.0 X4 32 Gigabit per second mode. Up to 11cm 22 110 M.2 modules can be installed. Surprisingly, no UDA2 connector on board, not that we really need it. In terms of audio, we have ASUS's Supreme FX audio solution on board, basically Realtek's new ALC 1228 channel 7.1 HD audio processor, capable of delivering a 120 decibel SNR. As always, Nichicon capacitors come into play here, and the audio circuitry is isolated from the rest of the PCB of course. As for LAN, it's the Intel i2-11AT Gigabit LAN controller, and when it comes to fan headers, we're getting loads here. 7 in total, 2 for the CPU, 3 standard system fan headers, and AIO and water pump headers, respectively, with the water pump header offering up to 3 amps. Also, we have the option to control all the headers except the pump ones and have them run at PWM or DC mode. Now as for the headers altogether on this board, front panel, 2 4-pin Aura RGB headers, 1 USB 3.1 Gen 1, 1 USB 2.0, ROG Extension Connector, TPM header, front panel HD audio, and 1 USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C header. Additional neat stuff on board, the Q-Code debug LED, power reset buttons along with safe boot and retry buttons, the slow mode switch, LN2 mode jumper, and water in, water out, and water flow headers to monitor the temperature and flow rate of liquid cooling systems. In terms of power, the ordinary 24-pin ATX, 8-pin ATX 12V, as well as an additional optional 4-pin power connection. Let's talk I/O. First off, I should let you know there's an M.2 Wi-Fi slot E-key type 2230. You could install a module, not included however. As for the rest, clear CMOS and USB bias flashback button, 8 USB 3.1 Gen 1, 4 USB 2.0, and then the USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A and C ports. Last but not least, the Gigabit LAN, 5 3.5mm audio jacks, and the optical PDIF output. At the time of filming, I had the latest BIOS version installed, and I gotta say, the BIOS is very decent. Not my favorite, but it ranks incredibly high. It has tons of options to offer and is well laid out in the so-called easy and advanced mode. An option I specifically love seeing here is the SMT option. We as the user can enable and disable it manually for testing purposes. Load line calibration, offset mode overclocking, custom P states, great Q fan control to set up custom fan profiles, overall a very good and well thought out UEFI BIOS. By installing the ASUS Aura software, you are getting full control over the RGBs on the board, with several neat little effects to choose from, and all of the zones can sync up, even connected RGB strips. And for those of you that dislike RGBs or LEDs in general, there's always the option to turn those off. Now what about overclocking? At stock, my Ryzen 7 1700X runs at 1.199 volts with this Crosshair 6 Hero according to CPU-Z. I managed to get my 1700X to run completely stable at 3.9 and 4 GHz with 1.308 and 1.395 volts respectively. And that's after several hours of stress testing with AIDA64 and Cinebench. And was overclocking hard with this specific motherboard? No, not at all actually. I didn't run into problems with this board except for the memory issues every board has right now with Ryzen. That has nothing to do with overclocking though, and will be fixed eventually. So the ASUS Crosshair 6 Hero is an extremely good looking AM4 motherboard with high quality components and tons of features, ports and connectivity overall. It actually has everything I'd wish for, even at a price point of $280. The performance is top notch, great BIOS, and I really can't repeat myself often enough, the ALC 1220 audio codec sure does deliver, clarity and volume wise. In my opinion, it's so good it makes mid-range sound cards kinda pointless. Last but not least, the fact that ASUS provides additional AM3 mounting holes is a class act, as it allows us to reuse our old CPU coolers without the need of any of the new AM4 mounting hardware. Due to the fairly high price point of $280, in general it may not be the average high-end consumer's board, but compared to the competition and its $280, it does incredibly well even at this price point. Which is why I can definitely recommend this ASUS Crosshair 6 Hero. Gold award, no doubt. Probably one of the best motherboard to go for the Ryzen 7 CPU. Thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next one.